Well, hello, folks. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Sorry, it's been a little while. We've had an interesting week, a lot of things going on in my personal worlds. We're trying to do what we can as much as we can, and we do really appreciate those of you that have subscribed to the channel. There's many people doing so. And I would just encourage you to subscribe again to this channel. I mean, you can't subscribe again, but again, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel, please, and like these videos, share these videos. And the reason I do that is, number one, we like you to subscribe so you don't miss anything, but also it drives up our organic rankings, which means that people can find our videos without actually searching for them. And I'm getting an increasing amount of emails from people that are saying, hey, I just came across you, I just saw you. So it is definitely beginning to help, and it's definitely beginning to make a big difference. You're subscribing, you're liking, and you're sharing. So I would encourage you to please continue to do so. And this is our NCK live, and I think next week we'll actually start going live, and it's a little bit problematic for me to do so. So if you do want me to do it live, so you can ask questions, you can make comments, I would ask you to do so, because if there's not that many people watching it live, it really is problematic for me to do it live. So I would probably continue to do it on a recorded basis unless I really see that there's a lot of people. And I'm fighting off sneezing still. It's allergy season here in Florida, so I do apologize in advance if I have to do any muting and sniffing, and I hope the mute button is working, because I think sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, but my apologies in advance. And we were talking last week, and I get a lot of this stuff in dreams, and it comes to me as I'm pondering and meditating. And if you're not meditating, I really encourage you to do so. And what does meditating look like? Well, you start with 30 seconds. Just focus on a spot on the wall or an object, and just clear your mind and do it for 30 seconds. You're like, 30 seconds? That's crazy. That's no time at all. Try it, and you'll see that 30 seconds can actually be a long time. But it's a if you can ever get yourself to where you're meditating 5 minutes a day, you're advanced, and I really mean that. But I remember, I just recently moved over from Orlando, and when I was in Orlando, I used to go over to the Casadega spiritual encampment. It's really not an encampment, it's like a little town. And it's a spiritualist town. And the spiritualists are basically the folks that communicate with spirits on the other side, seances and that type of things, readings from your people that have passed on and all that. And there's a really interesting guy over there. His name is Reverend Don Bianchi or Bianchi. I can't remember exactly how he pronounces it, but a very intelligent guy, very smart guy. He's been around, the road down. He's been around the bush a few times. It's not his first rodeo. And we were talking about the subject of reincarnation, and it's been on my mind a lot lately, because I don't think we really understand much about it. And the thing that we don't really understand, and the thing that Reverend Don brought up to me, and it's interesting because in spiritualism, they're very close to the Theosophists in doctrine and thought, and that's Madame Blavatsky, Theosophical Society. And the spiritualists are kind of along the same line, only they're different. And the real difference is the belief in reincarnation. Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society are big, ardent believers in reincarnation. And generally speaking, the spiritualists are not big believers in reincarnation. And I think that it's possible that both of them are right. And of course, you say, well, if one does believe in reincarnation, one doesn't believe in reincarnation, how could both of them be right? Well, the more I study, and the more I ponder, and the more I meditate, and I don't do channeling or anything like that, but the more I seek to find and plumb the depths of understanding, I think that physical reincarnation in bodies is a reality, and it's always been a reality. I think that Christ talked about reincarnation. Probably the best example is John the Baptist and Elijah. If you just look, Google that. And I got to tell you, I get a little frustrated when people write me and say, where did Paul say this, or where did John say that? Concordance much? Have a little bit of initiative and look it up yourself. If you can't find it, ask me. But I'm a little bit perturbed when people just want me to do their work for them. But I think reincarnation, physical reincarnation, is a reality, and I think it's a reality until we get to the place. So the Theosophists are right in saying that physical reincarnation is a reality, and it's a reality until we get to the place where we realize as a being that we don't need this body, that we are not this body, and that we can get outside this body. So, I mean, even people like L. Ron Hubbard, who takes a lot of crap, and a lot of it rightly so. But the thing about Scientology that people don't realize is there's very, very, very little of it that's original. Hubbard did a lot of traveling and a lot of studying, and he put together a bunch of thoughts, and then of course he lost control of it. Now it's just craziness with Miscavige running the show. But one of the things that, and I have read some Scientology documents, and I found a lot. That's fair. I found a lot of their technologies to be effective. Hubbard, and again, it wasn't original, but Hubbard teaches one of the most effective methodologies that I've ever seen for, as he calls it, being 3 feet behind your own head. Helping you externalize is the Scientology lingo for it. But all you're doing is getting outside of your body and realizing that, whoa, there's my body, and here I am, so this body's not me. And once you make that realization, and it's something to say, yeah, I believe it, and yeah, I know it, but when it happens, and I really need to start teaching some seminars, I think I'm going to do that. I think we're going to have some seminars here locally, and maybe we'll videotape them. And if you're here local, you can come to them for a very reasonable price. If you're not able to come, you could watch them for an even more reasonable price because you're not there. And we can start teaching people some of these things because it's very, very important. And your life will never be the same once you realize, once you get 3 feet behind your own head, because you realize that this body's not you. And I think that that's the turning point, that once you realize that this body's not you, and if you remember that Christ was constantly talking about that, once you realize this body's not you, then you leave the cycle of physical reincarnation. So the Theosophists are right in the fact that we have to keep coming back through physical reincarnation. I should call it bodily reincarnation. And there's been a long cycle of that. But what the Christ was telling us was, you can, in a single lifetime, come to the place where you can get off the cycle of reincarnation. And I was of the thought and of the mind that once you get to that place, no more reincarnation, and boom, you're there, you've ascended, you're to the next level, you made it. But in thinking along spiritualist lines, their thought was, why does a spiritual being, us, have to come back in a physical body over and over and over in order to learn and grow and develop? And it makes perfect sense. And that was the break with the Theosophists. But really, the Theosophists have a good point. The spiritualists have a good point. The theosophist belief is sound in that we have to go through physical reincarnation until we realize, holy crap, I'm not a body. Until you can get outside your head and know it and practically be able to do it at will, really, then you're probably coming back again into a physical carnation until you can learn, physical incarnation, how to do it. But once you get to that place where you know and have experienced externalization or separation from your body, and it's funny that people that tune in that have never heard of this are like, what is this crazy fool talking about? It's funny because it's like if somebody came in talking about quantum physics to third graders, they'd be like, and talking about advanced spirituality to now I lay me down to sleep Christians is kind of the same thing. But at any rate, once you get to that place where you understand, okay, I'm a spirit, you leave the cycle of physical reincarnation, but I should say, and I'm coming to even stronger beliefs, and I've got to bear this out through empirical study, that then you actually begin some spiritual development. It's not just because you find out you're not the body, you externalize yourself, realize you're a spirit. I think there's more development beyond that. And I think that's the new direction of new cosmic knowledge. Maybe we can be the first, other than, Hubbard arguably did some of this, but he lost control of things and got himself in a world of hurt by being greedy and by not staying in control of his stuff. But maybe we can correct those faults, and maybe we can get to the place where we can help people get off the cycle of physical reincarnation and help them learn to move forward in their spiritual reincarnation, if you will, spiritual development and growth. And I think that's what it's all about, and that's why I think that the actual seminars and things of that nature here locally in the Tampa Bay area would be a great idea. And we can also do those virtually by filming them. So I'm going to start putting that on the front burner, so to speak, and try to start making, and I'm not going to try, somebody's going to quote Yoda to me, but it's really true. We're just going to start doing it. So this has been NCK Live, NCK Center Live for Sunday, March 19th. Deep thoughts, but that's okay because it's deep thoughts between friends, and everything we do is all designed, except when I knock the camera like that, to help you in the journey to unindoctrinate yourself.